Savage, raw, unadulterated, powerful weapon system in the world. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but really, this is actually, believe it or not, this is a simple Savage Axis that has been modified. I'm going to talk to the guy who actually made this rifle, and he's made many of them. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what he did to the stock, the match grade barrel here, and he tweaked the trigger. Actually, this is a different trigger, and I'll let him tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, I don't know, he doesn't want to be on camera, but he's a mad scientist type gunsmith that can do just about anything with guns. And riflesmith. He's a riflesmith. Okay, well, this is one of his pet projects. Okay, is there something you like to talk at?
That is the latest one. That was a standard Axis.
It's an Axis what?
3006.
It was an Axis 3006.
Took the barrel of the stock, trigger off, trued the action, checked the bolt face for trueness. Basically all that was done to the action was I cut it back to the inner, where the threads start, because the Axis has the receiver recoil lug in the stock. So I installed a regular recoil lug, and if you wanted to, in a truing setup, it doesn't take much. You could actually put this back in the Savage stock if it had the factory barrel on it. It would drop right in if you took the bottom recoil lug off.
Okay. And what kind of stock is this?
This is a stock from New Merch Gun Parts. It is for a BSA CF2 target rifle, single shot. They come with the target rail and the adjustable butt for length and height.
So you just adjusted the stock to fit the action of the Savage?
The inletting was very close. You could do it in about 15 minutes, either with a Dremel. I use chisels. The trigger is an Accu trigger that just basically with one small modification, and it's not cutting the spring. It's fully adjustable down to 6 ounces, and it is in caliber 6mm TCU with a 1 in 14 twist. It's been out to the range twice. Low dollar, excellent accuracy. It's a Montana Rifleman barrel, or a shilling, I forget.
It's a shilling or a what?
Montana Rifleman.
Oh, okay.
Sure. And it's new old stock.
Twist rate?
1 in 14.
114 twist.
Up to 80 grain bullets. Same case capacity as a 6 PPC, a little bit less than a 6 BR. Next one's going to be in a fast twist.
Now, this is one of your targets that's pasted on here?
Oh, that was from, no, that's the first time out. The
first time out targets?
300 yard targets.
300 yard targets. Okay. What's the attraction? What's going on with this Savage Axis? Why are so many people customizing this gun?
It's cheap.
It's cheap? So how much money, not counting labor, do you have into this gun, would you just guess?
The gun from Walmart was $270. You sell the barrel for $50, the stock with the magazine for $75. You take $125 off that, you have the receiver, a $12 recoil lug. The barrel was the expensive part, $230, and the stock was less than $50.
So you're into this thing for about $400, maybe?
Yeah.
Something about $400.
The Accu trigger you usually buy used, or from people that insist on taking a perfectly good trigger off and put on a aftermarket. Yeah, the trigger was $40. It's average what you pay for an Accu trigger.
Okay, so he's got relatively match grade gun for about $400, man, and I think that's what a lot of guys are doing with these Axis. If you go on some of the forums, I've seen, man, there's hundreds of people just customizing Axis. And our riflesmith here has also done, I'm going to show you a couple more rifles that he's done, and he's done things with the magazines on some of these, and we're going to get into all the details. So right now I'm going to focus on the guns and show you more detail.
And I chambered it for 6 Thompson Center Ugalde, 6 TCU, which is becoming popular again. All it is a 223 case, necked up to 6mm with a 40-degree shoulder. I was shooting 6 PPC and 6 BR. Brass is expensive, not always available. And this brass is basically not an issue. Here's 300 yards, 3-shot groups with 75 grain Hornadies and 8208, which I was trying. It grouped fairly well.
Could you hold that up again? What size group is that about?
It's about 3/4 of an inch, almost 7/8, and that's at 300 yards at our sheriff's range.
And how much more tweaking can you do to this gun to get it? I mean, you haven't really...
No, I haven't checked bedding. I haven't gone through. I mean, the barrel's barely broken in. I've done nothing to lock time or spring pressure on the bolt. I think with a little bit, because of the vertical stringing, it's either a pressure load or I can do a lot. Only with load ammo, because I'm just taking loads out of 20-year-old books when the 6 TCU was popular, and tried an 8208, which is a fairly new powder. Pretty happy with the results. First time out with the 6 BR.
So basically you could tighten that group up to maybe 1/2 inch or less, you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm capable of shooting a 1/2 inch with any gun at 300 yards.
Well, I mean, what about 100 yards?
100 yards, the first groups when I was fireforming and I can't find the targets were, like I said, 5 shots under a dime consistently with the 75 grain, I think they were the TNTs or Sierras, and 5 shots under a nickel with the 80 grain blems at 100. So I'll be able to get it under a 1/2 inch consistently and hopefully less than 1/4 inch. 6 BRX, which is a 6 BR punched out a little bit with a 40-degree shoulder. Either a Douglas or a Schilling barrel. This still has the original Axis trigger that I did some modifications to. Nothing that's been on the internet yet. Nothing that's been on the Savage forum or whatever it's called. The started life is a 308, and it's a good shooting gun. This is a faster twist barrel. This is 1 in 10, made to fit me.
So that hand, where your hand, that is made
right
just
to
for
my
your
hand and laying on the ground with my right elbow completely out.
Custom, totally ergonomic, most ergonomic fit that any gun could have, because it's made just for you.
There are no adjustments on this, correct, and I've just recessed where my shoulder would go, and it's fairly slick action. I love these actions now, especially when you can get into them for complete action for less than $150.
And this is a Douglas or Schilling barrel?
Douglas or Schilling. This is a group fired with it, again, 200 yards, still working up a load. Lapua brass, 6 BRX. I was using 68 grain Uber bullets, double ogive. 31 grains of benchmark. It's been okay.
And this is a guy that I've been shooting with for about at least 3 years now, and he says I can't shoot yet. I still can't shoot, right? No, he's a really accurate shot, man. He's unbelievable. He has not tweaked these guns. There's a lot more potential to him, but
I'm still experimenting on these.
He's got so many guns. I mean, he goes to the range and he brings about 20 guns. You know, it's like I don't even know how he keeps track of all his loads, all the guns, or all the details. But
The problem that people have been having with the Savage is they're an entrance level gun. They don't know firearms, they don't know basics. They think they do, and they're looking at small rub marks, and it's perfectly natural. The gun is safe, it's accurate, it's good right from the box. Everybody complains the stock is weak. It's weakest link. It's got flaws, but it's a $270 gun. It'll shoot, if you use good ammo, it'll shoot well. And this is what you can do to them with very little money. This is a 308 Palma chambered Axis. This again is a stock made to fit me, shooting prone. It is started out life as a 308 Axis from Walmart. This is a Green Mountain minigun barrel that Green Mountain sells. It's 22 inches long for less than $50. There were 41 V50 chrome moly. Bore scope it. There are no machine marks inside. They are air gauged. They're a beautiful barrel.
How much were they?
Less than 50.
What's this chambered in?
223.
Oh, 223. Well, that's a pretty popular round.
This was another Walmart gun, Axis 223 factory. Took it home, stripped it. Again, this is a Green Mountain 41 V50 chrome moly, 1-in-7 twist. This one has the factory Axis trigger I had done work on, and I'll show the mods later. This is what I call fugly. This was leftover pieces of the plywood glued together and coated with Rust-Oleum textured paint.
What does fugly mean?
Friggin' ugly. This was February of this year. I haven't shot this in a few months. These 200-yard groups, 200-yard groups, that's 3. And that's 300-yard groups with 80 grain nozzlers and 23.1 Varget. Everybody says, why don't you shoot 5-shot groups? Well, I got too many guns. The guns usually shoot better than I do. And if I'm working up a load and I blow the group, I move on.